Hello and welcome. I am Scrapalog, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server. We're with Tiger Shrike, our level 14, almost level 15. Stalker, she has 42,000, almost 43,000 XP, 1,000 to go, and now 82,000 information, which is 10% of the way to what we're going to need to get the SOs at level 22. And we're doing a story arc for Hatchet. We're very close. I didn't even realize this last night when we logged out. I mean, I think I did, but the episode had gotten long because I had been too stupid to pause my travel through the city, and I didn't even talk during it because I had forgotten to pause it. So I apologize for that again. But we're very close to 15, so we'll be able to get that soon. We're working on a story arc for Hatchet. This is actually a longer story arc than most in Pretoria. By the fourth part, you're on the finale already. If you haven't done it already, some of them are only like 2 episodes long. This one's now 4 parts, and it'll be at least a fifth because this is not the finale. So it's actually a little bit more juicy than some of the other story arcs. One of the things I've noticed, I haven't been to the auction house to see if our little item sold. It probably hasn't, because one of the things I noticed when I went to log in, that I hadn't noticed before. So there's a front end called Cream Soda client, basically that evokes the City of Heroes program, written by the guy Wretched who that's his screen name, who runs the Rebirth server. And what I hadn't noticed is under the name of Rebirth or whatever on the top of the cream soda window, it actually shows how many people are currently playing. When I logged in, now this is Sunday morning, it's early, but when I logged in, there were 6 people playing. Now, Homecoming is not as big as it used to be, but I guarantee you, if you went to the Homecoming servers and they were showing their count, they've got to have like 75, 100 people on each server. So yeah, this is a much smaller server, so it's going to take a lot longer to sell salvage. My guess is it's probably a good idea to go SOs on this server, because if we were trying really hard to do inventions, it would be almost impossible to get the salvage we need, especially the rares, to make the higher level inventions. It's hard enough to do that. It's just all you have to do is get influence to do that on the Homecoming servers, because there's tons and tons of available items on the auction house for every single salvage item, for every single recipe. They're there for sale. It's just sometimes costs you millions to buy them. On this server, I think even if I had 100 million, there are some I wouldn't be able to buy because there just aren't any for sale, because there's just not enough people. So this really kind of forces you back into a more vanilla mode, a more vanilla mindset of just getting rid of all the loot and playing with SOs, which is exactly what we're going to do, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the R in salvage for now. I'm going to see if I get any more. We should get a few every. In my experiences, every 5 or so levels. When I was low level, I got an R in salvage. Now by 15, we should get maybe our second one. First 5 levels don't count because you don't get salvage in the first 5 levels, and then at 5th level or 6th level you start getting salvage. So usually by 10th level you've got one. By 15th or 16th, 17th level you got your second one. By 23rd level, you got maybe your third one-ish. Now, on the Homecoming server, those 3 will have sold for like 1.5 million, and you're set for life. On this server, that's not going to be true. We're going to be trying to get information constantly. That's what you had to do in live. So we're playing this the way you had to play it in live, where you don't buy DOs. By the way, notice we haven't bought a single DO, but we actually have a lot of DOs now. I just found a new one, a level 14 one. Right, so it's now a level, counts as a 15 because it's 14 plus. We've got, we're pretty much Assassin's Claw is as good as it's going to be until 22nd level. And we've got enough in here that we're doing okay. It might be worth ripping this out eventually and slotting in a second training enhancer here for accuracy. 2 of these is worth 1 DO. And if I had been playing normally and hadn't been a stupid bonehead and screwed up at the auction house, I'd have bought a single DO for each of these, right? So this power would have an empty slot here. I don't buy damage DOs at level 12. I just want to hit, right? Would have an empty slot and a single one of these, and it would be about an 8%. It'd be about a 15%, 16% buff. Well, it is, right? Here we're a little low. Slash is not good. It's only a 5% buff, but we've got almost the equivalent of an SO on Assassin's Claw, which is great. That's what I would have done normally, is have 2 DOs on here. And, Fast Healing's got a DO on it. That's pretty good. I probably wouldn't have put DOs on any of these powers yet. So we're actually doing okay. And we just need to hold out till 22nd level. So in the meantime, we're doing part 4, the feast. Everything is set, Tiger Shrike. The time has come to unleash our plan. The devices are all hooked up to the ghouls, and we will react properly when they've reached a certain threshold of pain, and will react when they reach a certain threshold of pain. We've got them packed up and shipped out to one of the main offices buildings of the PPD. Just imagine how to look in the headlines of people seeing ghouls out of their tunnels, slaughtering their beloved PPD. Who could they trust after that, knowing that the PPD couldn't fight the ghouls? I assume I'm leading the offense, right? The offensive, right? Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's crucial that you leave no survivors in that building. Every single member of the PPD is going to pay the ultimate price for supporting Cole. So players who originally chose to become loyalists but have become resistance have the option to call Provost Marchand to tell him about events that are happening. This will begin the optional storyline to work undercover in the Crusaders, which we don't have. Alright. Yeah, we don't have Cole, right? Or not Cole, Marchand. Cole, no, Cole's the bad guy. Not sure I love this storyline. We were kind of forced into it because there weren't any others being offered to us. And my guess is when we hit level 15, we'll get our last couple of contacts for the Pretoria storylines. And my guess is I was supposed to be level... Whoa. Are the ghouls following me? My guess is I was supposed to be level 15 before this, but I'm not because I've been going through missions without killing people. Come on, ghouls, beat them up. Are they going to blow up? I'm trying to avoid them because I don't know if they're going to blow up. So they're not blowing up? Well, that's stupid. These are NPCs, so I'm going to mostly ignore them. And we're now... Oh, we actually have one beat left. I misread that bar. I thought we were on the final beat. We have one beat left. Alright, I'm going to ignore the ghouls and just go the way I want. Because they're going to be a pain in the neck. Eliminate all PPD. So this is a defeat all. This is the first one we've had, actually, in one of these Pretoria missions. I will give them this. They have an insane number of enemy mobs. Oh, we're being ambushed. They have an insane number of enemy mobs in a lot of these missions, but at least they haven't forced us to defeat everybody, right? We've been able to just go through and sneak through. And that does speed up the missions, but it reduces the amount of XP you get, right? So, well, let's just stay down here because they're going to keep ambushing. Come on. Why do I keep getting caught? Here we go. They're going to keep ambushing us, so let's just stay down here until that's over. These ghouls have it taken care of, pretty much. But we're going to have to babysit them and make sure that nothing goes wrong. So as I was saying, a lot of these missions are insanely long with a lot of mobs. And we're about to level. A lot of them are insanely long with a lot of enemies. But most of them, fortunately, have not been defeat-alls. Missions where you have to defeat everybody. And it looks like the ambushes are over. I didn't count. Was that 3? It's usually a wave of 3. In any case, we haven't had to actually defeat everybody. So, it hasn't been that bad. And now we've leveled up, which will make this mission very easy. And we're now one level, guys. One level away from being able to get integration. I'm not even worrying about hiding, because with the ghouls with me... I don't know why I keep wanting to call them gnolls. But with the ghouls with me, it just doesn't matter. There's just too many of them, and they're all +1 to the bad guys now. Because they leveled up with me. Oh no, they didn't. I'm wrong. Sorry about that. Is one of the ghouls been defeated? It looks like one of them has. Okay, well, whatever. You guys can come with me or not. Don't care, they're all blue cons now, so they'll be super easy. The ghouls should help us out with the other spawn. So yeah, one of the differences is they do have these huge missions that are insane, but you don't actually have to defeat everybody. So as a Stalker, it's not been so bad. I think if we were a Scrapper or a Tanker, it would have been absolutely horrible, because we would have had to defeat every single guy in every mission. But fortunately, this is the only time we've had to do that. Now you can see that the ghouls are starting to get hurt. I have no way to heal them or to draw aggro from them. So that we're just gonna, they're just eventually gonna die. Now my guess is that's gonna make the ending a little harder, because for whatever reason the developers, even when they make the NPCs killable like this, always assume you're gonna be able to protect and keep all the NPCs with you. I don't know why they would assume that, because really, unless you're a tanker, and even a tanker at level 15 can't probably do it, but unless you're a tanker, nobody can keep enemies off of somebody else, right? Or a controller, something like that. But we should be fine here, because we are +1 to the mission, so we're only going to see blue cons and white cons. We're not going to see any yellows. So when we get to the end, if there's a boss or a lieutenant, it'll be -1 to us, or +0 to us instead of +1, and so that should make it possible to kill it with no problem. I haven't seen any bosses at all in these missions, so I'm guessing that we'll only face lieutenants, but I don't really know. Build-up is super awesome. I love it. It makes us hit more and do more damage. It's a great ability. Look at that, 132 damage on that one hit. Now that ghoul is going to aggro, you see, the other guy. And this ghoul has aggroed these guys, you see. So there's like literally no way to keep them all alive. And we're being ambushed, and the ghouls aren't even paying attention to it, right? Because this one guy has run off to aggro other people. So when this is over, I'm going to have to re-inspect this level, because I think there was somebody in another spot, like over here. So I'm going to have to check that out. Let's see. I think I saw some dialogue balloons over here. Yeah. Here's an ambush. Okay. So we got one ghoul left. Now this guy's a lieutenant, so he might last a little longer, but he's only got a little bit of health left too. These guys, as for such low-level characters, the Paragon PD and the Destroyers and some of these others, they have an awful lot of mez and debuffing effects for 15th level. Even these guys, right? Healing themselves up. They have an awful lot of those for 15th level characters. 14th level, actually. There's the ambush. Okay, so it's coming from here. I like to try to figure out where the ambush is coming from, and then just sort of close with it, just so that it takes less time to deal with it. So this is the second wave. As I've said in my Scrapper videos, there are usually 3 waves of ambushes when the game ambushes you. So there should be one more wave. So we know it's coming from over here, so the spawn point must be down here somewhere. He's keeping himself alive. Oh, maybe that was the third wave. Maybe he got caught up with some blue cons. Maybe that was the first wave that I didn't notice. I thought he was just attacking somebody that was standing over here that I hadn't seen, but I guess not. I guess it was the first wave. So we now need to go through this entire building and make sure that there are no enemies left. There will be some over here, I believe. Yep. And guys, not only have we gained a couple bulbs to get to level 15, we've already gained another bulb. Even fighting blue cons. Yeah, one of the things that I did when I was playing my scrapper is I went through and I worked on like doing missions against blue cons versus white versus orange versus yellow, and I've always suspected that blue cons are actually the most efficient because you gain less XP for them, but there's no threat and you can whip through the mission much faster. So if you're trying to level up, especially at low levels, you probably should just do blue cons if you can. Like, you don't even need build up to take these guys out. But when I did the test, I did it in the Mission Architect. I probably didn't do it right. I did it in the Mission Architect to try to ensure, what's the word for it, consistency. But the problem with the Mission Architect is it doesn't give you mission XP bonuses, right? And what I did was I did one mission and I looked at, how much XP per minute you could gain or per hour for just fighting white cons versus blue cons and so forth. Now this guy is lost, and I'm not going to worry about him. He'll come up with me in the elevator. But actually, that's not the right way to do it. I've realized. I was rewatching that video a few weeks ago, and I realized that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it would basically be to have two different characters that are the same, like two stalkers, and run one through on blue cons and one through on white cons and see what happens, or something like that. And go do the same missions so that you're getting the same number of enemies and the same rewards. Fight the same number of guys, right? Don't, if you're going to, you have to defeat all in the mission, make sure, that kind of thing. But the reason I feel like what I did wasn't right is because at the end of a mission, you get a lot of XP for completing the mission, and you got a lot of XP for completing story arcs. And if you're fighting against blue cons, you're going to be blowing through missions faster. You're going to get more mission completions per hour, and you're going to get a lot more. Look at this, we got more DOs, guys. This is excellent. We now have level 14 and 15 DOs, and this we're going to have to pull out. And we've got, let's see, should we put this in heal and health? No, that's about to expire, so let's go ahead and buff that, so that it'll keep working for us. We got some salvage and some recipes. So yeah, my belief is that if you did it the right way, you would find that fighting blue cons is the best. A lot of the people who play City of Heroes a lot and want to level up fast, they're like fighting reds and purples. I think that's a mistake. Fighting reds and purples is much harder. It takes longer to defeat the individual enemies. And they don't give you XP proportionate to the the extra time it takes to defeat them, right? So let's say a red con takes twice as long to defeat as a white con. It doesn't give you twice the XP. It gives you more XP, but not double, right? And there's also risk. You've also got to make sure you're carrying the right inspirations to fight them. Unless you're doing something exploitative, something the developers never designed or intended the game to do, it's much easier to just fight -1s and gain the XP that way, with zero risk, right? And you get the full rewards, almost the full rewards, right? It's like 80% of the reward with no risk, and you go through it like twice as fast. And so this is going to be really hard to get everybody because it's a very sort of maze-like level. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, what I found, I can't remember which character I did this on, but one of my characters, I actually did a bunch of blue cons, and I was like, this is so much easier. I just set it to -1, and I was like, this is so much easier because I'm gaining the XP, but there's no risk, right? It's all reward and no risk. And I never had to go to the hospital. I never had to buy inspirations. And you don't have to worry about getting your... you don't have to worry about getting your enhancements perfectly set up because you're fighting blue cons, so you have a bonus to hit them, and you do more damage, and they have less hit points. So it's like fighting blue cons is like if you fight blue cons with your character bare, it's like having a full set of training enhancements on your powers. And fighting blue cons with training enhancements is like having part training and part DOs on, right? So now you can see they definitely give more XP. It's 51 XP to defeat a white con versus 36 to defeat a blue con, but the blue cons die much faster, right? It's much easier to kill them. I'm not going to bother with build up here because we don't need it for the Assassin Strike. I'll do it now, you know, because we're to defeat things faster. But yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that it's definitely not worth it fighting purple cons. There's no question. I mean, you can do it as a high-level character, right? Once you're 50, you can, right? In fact, it's boring to fight anything below orange. But at low levels, obviously, you don't want to do that. And there were lots of people who used to purposely bump the notoriety in the old days when they first made it possible to do, and go, oh, I'm going to level faster. And like, I always think, no. You're better off just fighting blues and whites. Look how easy this is. No risk. Have I had to use a single inspiration in this mission? And yeah, I know this guy's with me, but even if he wasn't with me, really, they can't do anything to you when they're blue cons. The whites can do stuff to you, right? But against blue cons, they have penalties to hit. So it's almost like you have a little bit of a super reflex passive on. They take penalties to hit. They do less damage. You have buffs to hit them, and you do more damage, and they have less hit points. So it's just a win-win against the blue cons, and we're getting tons of drops. You can see, just about as many drops against a blue con as a white. I don't think the relative level changes the drop percentage. I think it's a fixed percentage. I could be wrong about that. That one I've never actually checked into. I don't normally, even though it is easier, I don't normally fight blue cons. Right? I normally try to set the mission to +0 or +1. I think there was a mission or two in City of Heroes where I actually set it to -1. But I'm not sure. I think, with my scrapper, I mean, this is all City of Heroes. On the Homecoming server. Oh, we're being ambushed. Okay. How could I tell? I saw a word balloon. And those are usually the ambushes coming. Either we're nearing a boss or being ambushed. What did it say? Oh, maybe that's a boss. This is Interrogator Marconi. This is the guy we're looking for? Alright, so I thought there were stairs over here. It's over here. I'm going around slowly, mostly because the zombies got to follow me. And also, I'm just trying to make sure we don't miss anybody. I really don't want to have to go back to the earlier levels. But this looks like it might be the final level, because the boss seems to be up there. Is he a boss? I don't know. He will be -1 to us, it looks like, because this room seems to be the on level for the mission. So usually the way this works, guys, in a given room, you will see everybody is the same level. So if this was like a +1 room, everybody would be white or yellow if we hadn't leveled. If this is a +2 room, or sorry, +0 room, everybody's blue. If it's a -1 room, everybody'd be green. So everybody in this room should be blue cons, and the boss should be either a white or a yellow, depending on whether he's a boss or lieutenant. Can't target him yet. Just trying to make sure that we've got everybody. Looks like we got everybody on this level, so we'll go up. Where is he? I thought I saw him standing over there. Alright, well, little by little. There he is. He is a lieutenant. Okay, that's not too bad. It looks like we're going to gain, what, 3 bulbs on this mission? Notice, against blue cons, guys. Right? So we gain tons of XP. It certainly hasn't been difficult. And we just aggroed him, so we better get over there. And our zombie lived through the mission. Well, not now. He's dead now. He blew up. But that takes out the boss. And now it's just a question of defeating other guys. By the way, one thing I haven't mentioned. I don't remember if this was originally a feature. I think it wasn't. I think that when I first took super speed, this wasn't true. You were just fast. And I don't think they had... So, when the game first started, one of the things they do with movement powers is they have this thing called travel suppression. So what happens is, while I'm in combat, if I turn super speed on, you see how slow I'm going? While you're in combat, it suppresses your travel. And the reason for that was PvP, right? If you were running at super speed and you were beating people up, nobody could catch you, and you were going to get your butt kicked, right? And I guess we did finish the story arc, I just didn't call it a finale. When you turn the power on and you get into combat, your travel ability gets suppressed. So super speed just turns into like regular sprint. Combat jump, super jump just turns into combat jump while you're being travel suppressed. But one of the other features they added with super speed is when you turn it on, it creates like a de-aggro field. I don't know if it says it in the info. Yeah, minus 100% threat level on self. So you can't. It's not stealth, right? You can't walk up to an NPC. Let's say this table is an NPC and stand right there and just sit. They will eventually attack you. But if you just run past them like that with super speed on, they don't even notice you. So when you add stealth, like hide, to super speed, you're never going to aggro anybody. It's awesome. Alright, so we're 15th level. And we're going to probably get almost another bead for finishing this story arc, but let's go ahead and call Hatchet. Look at that, we got another bead, and how much more? Just barely another bead. He says, "Glorious Tiger Shrike, that's all I can say. I think we put the proper fear into the PPD, don't you think? And we've proven that ghouls can be used to fight for us. These monsters are going to help us turn the tide of the war." So Marty looks at Hatchet and he says, "Except for Marty here, Marty's a prime example of a monster that can be brought to civilization. And we introduced to a new contact, and this is Beholder, so this is what we want. He's in the underground, but..." Well, you know what? I was going to say we have to level up, but I think we can do everything we need in the underground. Right, there absolutely is no reason that I would buy any enhancements now at 15th level, because we're at 17th level, we're going to be ready for the level 20s. Let's just go ahead and level up here. I don't want to deal with the underground right now. Let's see, how long has this episode been? 28 minutes, yeah, so we're just going to level up and we'll stop, so I won't go into the underground with you guys. I'll do that later. It's early morning and I've got some shopping to do and some other things. Shopping in the supermarket, not like clothes shopping. And I'll come back and do some more later. But I'm really happy that we're 4/10 of the way through level 15, which means in probably one more story arc we'll finally be able to get integration. Okay, so we get 2 slots. Do I want to finish Assassin's Claw? Do I want to do Dull Pain? I think I want to do 1 Dull Pain, 1 Assassin's Claw. This way, when the time comes, we can put 3 recharge enhancers on both of those. There should be a vendor around here somewhere. There. Let's go check out and see. I don't have a lot of faith in the auction house, knowing that only 6 people even are logged in a morning like this, so there aren't a lot of players. But let's just see, since we're right here. I figure we can take a look and see if we've sold. I checked last night, we still had not. It's sort of weird. I don't really understand how this works. Ah, there it is. So somebody just bought it for 10,000. So the million was insanely inflated, and that means nobody's going to want to buy this thing. All right, well, I'll leave it up for now. It doesn't hurt anything to leave it up. Eventually, I can take it down and sell it to a vendor for 5K, and we can make some of our money back. We can make back the money it costs to put it up for 100K. We'll leave it up for now. But that tells me why. I don't know why it was selling for a million and now it's selling for 10,000. That's really weird. It was clearly hyperinflated. Um, if I had seen that, I would have just sold the thing to a vendor, right? I wouldn't have put it up for 8K. I would have just sold it for 5 and said, the heck with it, right? Again, you can really play the mini game of the auction house, and yeah, you could put it up for 5,100 and make an extra couple influence or something, but um, to me, it's not worth it. It's easier to just sell this stuff. At least until we have enough influence to really play the market, information to really play the market, I don't think it's really worth it. I think we've proven it's not worth it to try and game the system because there are so few people bidding that, like, you can tell what something's going for. And I got used to this on the homecoming servers because all of the last 5 sales happened today, right? So this is what it's going for today. On this server, the last 5 sales go back like a week and a half. Well, some crazy person was paying a million for it a week and a half ago, and that inflated the price. But now it's come down to a more sane and reasonable price, which is like 10K. So, if the sales had been going on much faster, that would have recycled so quickly. I would have seen that and been like, it's not worth putting it up. So unless I'm going to get like 100,000 or something for it, I'm not going to bother auctioning off salvage. So we're just going to pay. We're just going to sell this. When we get to higher levels, it'll probably be with the recipes. It'll probably be worth auctioning off some of the recipes. But because it costs, a few thousand to put it up, and we don't have a lot, I don't think it's really worth it. We're almost at 100K though, guys. We're almost at 100K at level 15. That is not bad at all. You might say, well, wait a minute. We're 2/3 of the way to level 22, and we don't have 2/3 of the 800,000 you said we need, right? We need that would be like 550, 600, 550,000. We're nowhere near it, and that's true. But it takes a lot more experience to level up as you go through the levels, right? The first few levels you're done in like a single episode. You get a lot more influence when you get that experience because you're leveling up, or information. And the drops are going to start giving us a lot more because the enhancements, as you've seen, are starting to drop DOs. And those DOs we can sell, and instead of them being worth like 200 influence, they're worth like 1,200. And that's going to mean that all of a sudden there's going to be this ramp up in how much information we get from selling stuff that we don't need. We're also going to get more recipes. We're going to get more salvage because the recipes don't even drop the first 7 or so levels. So hopefully we'll end up with a lot of influence. We may not have enough information. We may not have enough at 22nd level to fully SO our character, but hopefully we can at least do the attacks. And we can calculate how much that's going to be, right? This will be 6 slotted, and I think it's about 30,000 for each of these SOs, yellow and red. So that's 180K. The attacks will probably be 3 slotted each, so that's another 180K. And we'll probably have like one more attack in some slots, so we'll probably need about 600K to just slot out the attacks. So it's not as bad as 800. Maybe we'll leave 500K. We may not have it, and we may be 50,000. If we're off by 50,000, it's totally because I put that thing up on the auction house. But in any case, we'll just see what happens. It's a new server, so I'm gonna just have to get used to how things work on Rebirth. And in the meantime, we are ready to start our new contact, who is in the underground, and then I think they'll send us to Neutropolis, which is the level 16 to 20 zone, I believe. And then we'll be done with the Praetorian story. But in the meantime, we're done for now, and I'll be back with another episode shortly. I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.